Hello everybody and welcome to the start of a new Planet Coaster series where I'm going to be recreating Expedition GeForce at Holiday Park. And while in the past I've pretty much been opposed to doing a recreation at all, I just thought I'm much more of a creative person. I like doing my own thing in this game. I have eventually been persuaded by some people to do a recreation, and I thought, why not go for it, do something different. And yes, I will be recreating my #1 roller coaster, which is Expedition GeForce. So beginning, obviously we're going to be doing the layout. I don't know what else you would start with in a recreation, but yes, I am doing something different to do with the track, and that is because of the Planet Coaster limitations. So there will be part 1 of building the layout and then part 2. So in this video we will build the first half of the layout, which includes the drop, the first airtime hill, the overbank, and then another airtime hill. So that's what I'm going to be working on, and I'm going to be talking to you about the process of building. And the thing that I said is different for this is that the Planet Coaster limitations mean that there's no coaster in game that utilizes both the tri and square track in this game. Obviously Expedition GeForce uses square track on some of the intense parts such as valleys, overbanks, and obviously the first drop, but then there's other parts such as the airtime hill that I'm building right now, and yeah, this does use tri-track. So what I have to do is go over the layout twice, and yeah, so twice with 2 different coaster types. The actual ride system in the game is the Gerstlauer Eurofighter, but obviously that's not what it is. But then we are going to be going over with the Intermin Giga in-game track type to make it look square. And yeah, you can see me here already going over, and this is quite a difficult thing to do because it has to be perfect. If not, it'll start to drift away later through the layout, and in order to get it perfect there is a special trick which you can try. If you look towards the bottom of the screen where it comes up with all of the the descriptions and the functional stuff at the bottom, you can see that I have got angle snap to 1 degree, and that allows me to write down the angles of one track so I can go over with the other at exactly the same angle. And obviously when I smooth as well, I have to make sure that I've got a systematic way of smoothing so that they're going to smooth out exactly the same, so that they join up and basically overlap as best as possible. And you may have noticed that the 1 degree angle snap isn't normally in the game, and in order to get this you have to basically go into the files on Planet Coaster and just edit the code a tiny bit. And that might sound complicated, but it's really not. You just have to change the angle snap, which I believe is normally at a minimum of 11.25 degrees. You just have to change that value to 1, and yeah, that's all you have to do. So that's what we're going to be doing for a lot of this layout. And already now you can see me on the overbank, and this is a part of the layout that utilizes the square track. So this is again the reason why I've got to go over the ride with both. And if you look a little bit carefully, I guess you may be able to see in the background that there are some bits of track. I think you might have seen a pre-built overbank already, and I did make a big mistake when starting this. Basically I didn't have the floor plan lined up with the coaster, so the angle of the first drop was completely wrong. I had it more at 90 degrees when it's actually more at 100 degrees, so it was all it was all off track where it should be. So that meant that I had to go back and do the entire first drop again, and because the first drop was from a different angle to it was before, that meant that the other elements such as the airtime hill, the overbank, and the technically I guess it's a speed hill, this next bit, all of those were wrong. So I've gone back and I've done them again. So that was really annoying, but I think I've managed to make the track even better. It's smoother and it's more well shapen so that it looks realistic, and I'm honestly very happy with how this looks so far. So I'm now going to talk about this whole series in the long run, and yeah, I don't really know how long it will take me to do this. Obviously, Expedition GeForce probably isn't the hardest recreation there is to do. Obviously, if you were to recreate Terran and someone's already done a Terran recreation, which is amazing, that would be a lot more difficult. Expedition GeForce doesn't have much theming, and that is sort of a reason why I chose to do this ride. I don't expect some bits to be that difficult, which is a good thing, but then there are other bits which will be. For example, one of the challenges that I am expecting is making all of the signs around the area. I don't know how I'm going to find what they look like. I'm probably going to have to use Photoshop to try and recreate the sign and then import that into the game as a Theme Maker Toolkit item. And yeah, there is also a river rapids which this ride does interact with, so I'll be trying to build that to the best of my ability as well. And you can see there on the floor plan it is called Dino Splash, and it did actually get rethemed fairly recently, so that's quite a nice new feature. And it is a really good river rapids. It's probably one of my favourites that I've done, and it's got some really nice new theme, and it looks very, it just looks new. And obviously with it being themed around dinosaurs, there's lots of dinosaur animatronics, so that could be a challenge again to be able to find the right pieces from the Theme Maker's Toolkit. But again, the main focus of this recreation is Expedition GeForce, so if I don't get the river rapids perfect, then I don't think it's a massive issue, because people won't really care about that. Expedition GeForce is obviously one of the greatest roller coasters on this planet, so come on, why would you care about a river rapids instead? But anyway, I will still try to work on that river rapids and make it look as good as I can, because it is shown a lot in the POV of this ride. You get a good view of it when you go through a clearing, because it's a very forested area. But yeah, you can just see me now smoothing the ride. And like I said before, when smoothing, you've got to make sure that you do it in a very systematic way. So I try to smooth with 6 pieces, and yeah, it's just a systematic method. It doesn't really matter exactly how you do it. You've got to make a method that makes it smooth, and if you've got a method that makes it smooth, then use that, but make sure you use exactly the same with both tracks. It's not that much of an issue, because if you click to the smooth button twice for a same bit of track, it's not the end of the world, because it won't make much of a difference. But just to make it perfect, that's pretty much what you've got to do. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed the first episode of the Expedition GeForce recreation, and I'll see you in the next one very soon.